Sir, good evening. Good evening, sirs.
Yeah, very good evening. Madam, namaskar. Welcome.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir.
வணக்கம்
Good evening. Good evening.
ஃபேஸ்புக் செட் பண்ணிட்டீங்களா?
இது யூடியூப் லைவ் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு சார். ஃபேஸ்புக் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காப்ல சார்.
சரி.
இங்க நெட் ஸ்லோவா இருக்குன்னு வேற இடத்துல பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காப்ல.
ஓகே. ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாங்களா?
சார் 42
Other games.
ஜாயின் பண்ணுவாங்க நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம் சார்.
Yeah, we can start.
சார் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாங்களா?
Okay, we can start.
Good evening to one and all present here. Respected Regional Director from RC Madurai, our esteemed and respected resource person, Professor Dr. Sachi Shah Madam from the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies, IGNOU, our esteemed coordinator, Dr. Suresh Frederick from the Study Center, Bishop Eber College, Trichy, our coordinators from the study centers under RC Madurai region, our esteemed assistant coordinator, Dr. Jay Kumar from the study center at Bishop Eber College, Trichy, our staff members and LSC functionaries, faculty members, our most esteemed participants. We welcome you all for this national webinar on environmental education for sustainable development. We have been live streaming this online event through Facebook as well as YouTube in order to maximize the viewers. So if any viewers unable to join or log out also, you can watch through the Facebook and other YouTube channels. With these words, I request the Regional Director, Dr. M. Sanmukham, Regional Center, Madurai, to inaugurate the event, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anbalagan. Very good afternoon to all. Our esteemed resource person and the Director of School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary, Professor Sachi Shah. Our coordinator from the well-reputed college in Trichurapalli, Bishop Eber College, Dr. Suresh Frederick, Assistant Coordinator Jay Kumar, Dr. Jay Kumar. Our coordinators from other study centers across the region, academic counselors, invited participants, and other guests. We feel it is a great pleasure to have such kind of very innovative session, inviting the experts in this field, particularly in the field of environmental science, for deliberations, for discussions in this forum. We are very much thankful to our coordinator, making it possible to organize such meeting, which is, of course, which is very much required to share, to understand the latest developments in the area of agriculture and sustainable development also. Professor Shachi Shah is a very eminent faculty. Her area of research also, the environmental science, did PhD from GP Pant Agriculture University, very old university, and with the colorful publications. And she has worked as a assistant professor also in that university, and she has joined with IGNOU and contributing a lot. Though her subject is of environmental science, she is heading a very innovative school of interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary, offering diversified programs in different areas. And also nowadays, IGNOU is moving ahead of digitalization of the programs as well as the offerings also. And the school, as a head of the director of the school, we have seen a number of programs have already been made online offer, and the SWAM contributions. Madam is offering individually certain programs on SWAM. Her contribution for the diploma programs, postgraduate diploma in climate change, it is very, very important and unique kind of program which is being offered by Indira Gandhi National Open University. So adding credit to the university, and I personally, I know her hard work and team spirit, bringing the people, and the timely completion, having the deadline of execution of the programs, etc. And she is the right person to address the gatherings on environmental education for sustainable development. Madam, this study center, our IGNOU Study Center, Fisher Keeper College, is a very old study center. We have started in those days, early days. Only few centers in Tamil Nadu. One is in Coimbatore, Trichy, and like Madurai, limited centers. So this was one of the oldest center which we are associating. They have got a full-fledged science department in so many disciplines, and good research work also, research center also, and all disciplines, arts, science, commerce, integrated type of colleges, having very experienced faculty, dedicated faculty members, and they are they have come forward with program. Definitely the purpose is to provide the latest developments and the research oriented information for the sharing to the information of the country. Today's we are very much aware of it. The government of India is putting a lot of emphasis on Swachh Bharat and so many other aspects pertaining to the environmental aspects. So this is the field which everybody should have basic knowledge on environmental aspects, and even the courses earlier. Now also it is in the practice that UGC as well as IGNOU has been giving the awareness program of environmental science free of cost to the students registered with the various programs of IGNOU also. So sustainability is and agriculture, these two things are interrelated, and definitely this session is going to be of much beneficial for the discussion, and we look forward all our participants for their interactions, because the academic counselors who have joined here are well aware of the system of IGNOU and what the modalities which is been followed also during this COVID situation. They are all with us in taking up the support services. And MS Environmental Science, This is the only center which we have in our region at the Bishop Keeper College, and they are extending their lot of support as a team spirit to our programs. So with these few words, once again, I welcome Madam for your for sparing your valuable time and greatly accepted for giving this kind of support, and we feel it is some kind of promoting the activities of IGNOU in this region also. So with these few words, once again, I thank you all, and let this session be a fruitful one, and have some interactions also. Thank you very much.
Now I invite Professor Sachisha Madam, the Director of the SOITS IGNOU from the New Delhi. We are glad to and happy to welcome you, Madam, for this online webinar. We request you to present your session to our esteemed participants, Madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. G. Anna Balagan. Respected Regional Director, RC Madurai, Professor M. Shanmugam, the Assistant Regional Director, IGNOU RC Madurai, Dr. G. Anna Balagan, and Coordinator, IGNOU LSC 2504, Dr. Suresh Frederick, Bishop Harbour College, Tirchi. First of all, I take this opportunity to sincerely thank Dr. G. Anna Balgam and Dr. M. Shanmugam to extend an invitation to interact with the student on the topic environmental education and education for sustainable development. I also like to sincerely thank Shanmugam sir, who has, when we started the program from School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies, which he was mentioning about PG certificate in climate change, MSc Environmental Sciences, PG Diploma in Sustainability Science, and PG Diploma in Environment and Occupational Health. At that time, he was here in our main campus. He was the RSD director, and in the capacity of director, we have met many times, and he has extended all the supports for the program promotion, program development, and delivery. I take this opportunity to thank you, sir, for extending your all support to us, to school, for the delivery of our program. Like sir has mentioned that MSc Environmental Science program also, the Bishop Harbour College and they have established a study center. They are conducting the classes. We had an induction session also. So that is also, I also take this opportunity for this to all the academic counselor and coordinator of IGNOU LSC 2504 and our regional director and assistant regional director for this. So coming to the session on environmental education and education for sustainable development, I will start the presentation with the quote of two very renowned social reformer. I will quote the Nelson Mandela, which is one of the most famous saying on the value of education. He said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And the second thing which I wanted to quote is the great leader, great freedom fighter and father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, who has said that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. These two holds the key for today's discussion, which I'm going to deliberate on environmental education and education for sustainable development. To begin with, we know that today we are confronted with many environmental problems, many environmental issues. We are facing the problem of increasing population, urbanization. All these are leading to various type of environmental problem. Recently, a report was published by United Nations Environmental Program, which says that we are facing the triple environmental emergency. These emergency, they have mentioned that climate change, environmental pollution, and biodiversity loss. We are facing many problems related to environmental degradation, which arises from unsustainable development, which arises from over-exploitation of natural resources, unsustainable management of land resources, whether it is water resources, whether it is wetland resources, unsustainable watershed management, and so on and so forth. So we are in an era where we are facing many environmental problem, environmental emergency. When we say education, education is a very powerful tool. Education is a tool which gives us knowledge, awareness, which gives us skill, which gives us attitude to face, as far as environment is concerned. Education for environment or environmental education gives us the knowledge, attitude, skill, and kind of awareness about the various environmental issues. When we say environmental education is, we all know that environment is there for centuries, but this word has become popular after the United Nations Conference on Human Environment, which was held in Stockholm Conference, which is very popularly known as Stockholm Conference, and which was held in Sweden in June 1972. With this conference, the meaning of environment was strengthened, and the conservation, protection of environment has put on place. In the 1992 United Nations Conference on Environment, which was held, which is also known as Rio Summit, it also discussed the important role of education, training, and public awareness in achieving the sustainable development. Here, I would like to mention that in 1972, the Human and Environment Conference, it made a framework for environmental action. And in United Nations Conference of Environment and Development, which is also known as Rio de Janeiro Conference, it has given the Agenda 21 a guideline which talks about the environmental education, which talks about the preservation, conservation, and protection of environment. I will also discuss about the evolution of environmental education, how the education for environment was evolved. I would like to mention that the concept of environmental education was emerged only in 70s. This 70s is known as the decade of environmental education. During this period only, we realized that environmental concerns and environmental awareness, it can be spread only through mass environmental education program. So, coming to the concept of environmental education, it was first formalized by IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, in 1970. A meeting was held in Nevada, USA, and they tried to finalize recognize the value and concept, the skill, attitude which is necessary to understand or appreciate the environmental problem was discussed. Subsequently, then after this, environmental education was recognized, and then it was, as I was telling, that United Nations Conference in 1972, UNESCO, UNAP 1976, the importance of environmental education was identified. Actually, the concept of environmental education, I was telling you, it was emerged in Stockholm Conference, which was held in 1972. After this, there was Belgrade Charter 1975, and main environmental conference where this environmental education come into forefront was Tbilisi Declaration, which was held in 1977. So I will be discussing all these things in my presentation. I will be also discussing why this environmental education is important, what it covers, how it covers the human behavior, how it covers the nature and man's interaction with this biophysical environment, and understanding of this interaction, the interlinkages which are exist between nature and environment. So I will share my PPT. I have made a very small PPT. Okay, I'll share entire screen. Is it visible?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
No. Yes, yes. Visible now.
Okay. Is it moving?
Yes.
Okay. So I will start with, as I was telling, that nature and human interaction. We all have taken nature for granted. If you see that we know that most of our needs are fulfilled by the nature, but still we have not given much importance to the nature. If you see the nature, each and everything which is found in nature is scientifically managed. If you see the shape of the leaf, if you see the tilt of the leaf, or you see the dense forest, you may be finding it that it is totally cluttered, but nature has made everything in a balanced way to support everything. Whatever waste we are generating into the environment, it is absorbed by the nature and it is balanced. But after the industrial revolution, the kind of waste we are generating, we are polluting the environment in such a way that it has become totally unsustainable. So we have totally shattered the way environment was balanced and it was sustainable. Now the very foundation of environment is unsustainable. We are producing a large amount of waste, whether it is solid waste, whether it is liquid waste, whether it is any kind of waste, construction, demolition waste, plastic waste, e-waste, or various kind of pollutant, whether emerging pollutant, hazardous waste, whether we are a new type of toxic chemical. All these are completely degrading the environment. It is polluting the environment. Same way, the kind of lifestyle, consumerism lifestyle we are having, it is also impacting the environment. So what I wanted to say, that unsustainable development is rapidly degrading Earth's capacity to sustain human well-being. Earth has a limited capacity, a carrying capacity. It is exceeded because of increasing population. It has increases. We have overexploited the natural resources, whether it is water resources, whether it is any kind of biotic resources, forest, whether it is wildlife, or any kind of resources, mineral resources. We have over exploited and it has become unsustainable. So we need to have, if we see the situation, as I was telling, that this unsustainable pattern of consumption and production are overburdening the earth resources, resulting in the degradation of in the loss of biodiversity, loss of wildlife, resultant pollutant. All these are creating a kind of environment which is totally unsustainable. Giving the example of climate change, the earth climate is increasing. There are many environmental commitments. If we take the Paris Climate Agreement, we need to mitigate and adapt and decrease the temperature of the Earth by 1.5 degrees centigrade as per the Paris Climate Agreement. But we are failing to meet these commitments to limit the environmental damage. Like there are numerous reports which are saying that Earth is completely degrading. Whether you take the report of UNEP, whether you take IUCN report or any other report, the kind of different type of policies, measures are there. Recently, there is Kigali Amendment, there is Montreal Protocol, there is Paris Climate Agreement. In India also, like Sir was saying, that Indian government has also to create the environmental awareness, to create the environmental education. Several programs have been initiated, whether it is Swachh Bharat Mission, whether it is Cleanliness Drive. There is Jal Sanrakshan Abhiyan. There is recently I was reading in the newspaper, there is Green Yodha. The Water Ministry of Water Resources has launched a program that is Green Yodha, Green Warrior, Save the Rain. that all the program just to create the environmental awareness. But despite that, we are failing to meet the commitment to limit the environmental education, environmental damage. So resulting the environment is degrading, it is deteriorating. We can see the kind of deforestation, desertification, various type of climate event, flood or cyclone, various type of disaster, forest fire. All these are leading to catastrophic events. We all know about the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals with 169 targets. All these goals are aimed to achieve the 3P, that is prosperity, people, prosperity, and planet. These all three are linked with the sustainability. But because of this environmental degradation, we are facing difficulty in achieving all these sustainable development goals. So there are environmental emergencies are arising, whether it is pollution, whether it is biodiversity change, whether it is desertification, whether it is climate change, land degradation, and so on and so forth. All these emergencies need to be addressed together. So what is the solution? As far as the education is concerned, the environmental education is the solution by which we can create the awareness, we can develop the skill, we can develop the attitude, we can sensitize the people regarding various environmental issues and how these environmental issues are affecting human well-being, how these environmental problems are affecting our own survival and survival of each and everyone into the universe. When talking about the environmental education, as I was telling that environment was already there. So initially the environmental education was concerned with nature conservation education. Since beginning, we know that we are depending on the nature, whether it provides us air, whether it provides us water, whether it provides us food, or any other kind of material is provided. So we were concerned initially environmental education. When we talk about it, we talk about the conservation of nature. We appreciate the nature. We are fascinated the nature. When the nature get polluted, then we talk about the protection of nature. So initial environmental education start with nature conservation education. But after 1970, and when the environmental pollution increased and the people became much aware about the pollution, its harmful effect, how it has affected the health of millions of people, how it has affected the survival and livelihood of people, then the formal environmental education came into existence. As I was telling you, that environmental education, it has started from Tbilisi conference in 1977, coming to the various type of environmental education meets and environmental education policy. Now, when we talk about the education for sustainable development after the sustainable development goals, and by declaring, United Nations has declared the 2004 to 2015 as the decade for education for sustainable development. Now the contemporary environmental education has moved toward education for sustainable development. If we talk about the 17 sustainable development goals, most of the goals they talk about, they have environmental concerns, whether it talks about the food security, whether it talks about the climate action, whether it talks about the terrestrial ecosystem, marine ecosystem, biodiversity conservation, urbanization, or consumption of natural resources. All these environmental aspects are integrated into the sustainable development. So with the decade of education for sustainable development from 2004 to 2015, the contemporary environmental education has moved towards the education for sustainable development. Now, if we talk about the environmental education, it is a learning process that basically, according to Tbilisi Declaration 1978, it increases people's knowledge and awareness about the environment and associated challenges. The environment, what are the environmental challenges? Initially, when we see that there are a number of incidents related to air pollutions, whether it is different kind of photochemical smoke, London type of smoke, or various type of disastrous event, whether it is Bhopal gas tragedy or related to various type of marine nuclear disaster. So initially the knowledge was about the pollution, environmental pollution, and how it is affecting the environmental and human health. Then slowly and gradually we came to realize that we are totally dependent on environment. We are totally dependent upon ecosystem. If I say about ecosystem, we all know that this decade is known as decade of ecosystem restoration. We totally depend on ecosystem for our survival, for our livelihood, for our each and every needs. We are dependent on ecosystem, whether it is terrestrial ecosystem, whether it is marine ecosystem, whether it is related to fishery, agriculture ecosystem, wetland ecosystem, or any other ecosystem, forest ecosystem. We are totally dependent on our need. We are well aware of the needs which it provides us, which it in the form of materialistic needs. But we are not much concerned about the supporting services it provides, about the cultural services it provides, about the regulating services it provides. For example, when we talk about the ecosystem services, there are provisioning services, there are supporting services, there are regulating services, and there are cultural services. Provisioning services are the services which are provided in the form of different materials, for example food, for example various type of agriculture product, for example medicine, forest product, etc. But when we say about regulating services, there is regulation of climate, there is regulation of water cycle, there is regulation of various type of activities. These are regulating services. When we say about supporting services, then there are number of supporting activities which is provided by the nature. So all these services are provided, all these benefits which are provided besides livelihood, these environmental education provides the necessary skill and expertise to address these challenges. It also fosters attitudes, motivation, and commitment to form informed decision and take responsible action. How we can, by educating ourselves, by educating the people about environment, about environmental issue, what informed decision we can take, what responsible actions we can take. This environmental educations tells the people about the protection of environment, preservation of environment, and conservation of environment. So environmental education is a process by which people develop awareness, concern, and knowledge of the environment. It learned to use this understanding to preserve, conserve, and utilize the environment in a sustainable manner. It entails the will to take personal initiative and social participation to achieve sustainability. So all these things are provided by environmental education. If we see the aim of environmental education, the main aim, as I was saying, that the awareness, to create the knowledge, to create the skill, to value the environment. It aims individual, it aims communities, civil society, everyone. They should understand the value of environment, the complex nature of the built-in environment and natural environment. It gives the knowledge, value, attitude, practical skill to participate in a responsible and effective way and anticipate in solving the environmental problem, in management of the equity of the environment. Now coming to the education for sustainable development. The education for sustainable development, according to UNESCO 2014 has defined that ESD is an opportunity and a responsibility that should engage both developed and developing countries in intensifying efforts for poverty eradication, reduction of inequalities, environmental protection, and economic growth, with a view to promote equitable, more sustainable economy and society benefit all countries. This was given by UNESCO 2004. Now, if we see education for sustainable development, if we see the 17 sustainable development goal, And before that, in 2000, Millennium Development Goals were proposed. These Millennium Development Goals target has to be achieved in 2015. And when they were not achieved, the 17 Sustainable Goals came into being. These 17 Sustainable Development Goals, they talk about poverty. They talk no poverty, zero hunger, equity, gender equality. They talks about, when we talk about the Sustainable Development Goal 4, it exclusively talk about the quality education, the accessibility to everyone about the education, so that it will empower the people to attain, which will help in achieving of other sustainable development goals also. So environmental education and education for sustainable development, if we talk about, I was telling you about the evolution of how it evolved. The concept of environmental education was emerged from Stockholm Conference, which was organized by the United Nations in 1972. Here, the first time the environmental education and environmental awareness was raised, and after that, the environmental education has become more popular. Then it was followed by Tbilisi, Georgia conference, which was held in 1977. And this environmental education conference, they have given the meaning to environmental education, definition to environmental education. What are the things which will be covered in environmental education? Then after this, United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, which was held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 1992, where the Agenda 21 came into existence. The Agenda 21, with its article, it talks about the environmental education. The Johannesburg Summit, which was held in 2002, the Johannesburg Statement or Johannesburg Declaration, it talks about the education for sustainable development. After the Johannesburg conference only, the decade for environmental education was declared, and 2004 to 2015 was declared as environmental, that the decade of environmental education. These all, there are number of agreement, number of program which talks about environmental education, and now the 2013 Agenda for Sustainable Development and its Sustainable Development Goals. Here, I would, it's very interesting to mention that 1972, when the first environmental conference was held in Stockholm, the theme of that conference was only One Earth. Now, in 2022, when we are celebrating the 50 years of the first environmental conference, the theme is again, that is the still One Earth. See, what I wanted to say and what the environmental education also aims is that the 50 years has passed. Before 50 years, the theme was only One Earth. We are having only One Earth, which fulfills all our need, our physical need, our basic needs, our food, feed, fodder, our air, water, soil, our livelihood. Every support, it is provided by One Earth. Still, we are not understanding the importance of this earth. And after 50 years also, if we look back, we are again facing the same problem, and we have not taken much of the action to protect this earth, to conserve the various type of resources which sustain the human well-being and well-being of entire society. Here comes the role of environmental education and education for sustainable development. Here, the environmental education, it should talk about how these problems are originated, what is the solution for this problem, how we can make the capacity buildings for this environmental program, environmental knowledgeable environmental workforce, which will work for improving the environmental condition and also help us for achieving the sustainable development goal. I will be giving you a very small brief about how environmental education is started in India. So the first India's endeavor to include environmental education in formal education, which was started in the National Policy on Education in 1986. And in 1991, environmental education was mandated by Supreme Court in 1991. And the National Council of Education Research in 2003, government directed NCER to to start the program related to environmental education. Therefore, in 2005, the National Curriculum Framework has been designed with stressed on environmental issues and various type of project-based learning. In 2016, UGC has mandated a 6-month compulsory courses on environmental studies for all undergraduate in all discipline, whether it is art discipline, science discipline, law discipline, engineering discipline, any discipline. A course related to environmental studies is compulsory for all discipline. That is, in 2016, UGC has mandated as far as higher education is concerned. Here, I would also like to mention that India is among only few countries where environmental education is a compulsory subject in formal and non-formal education. The school-going children's, it is compulsory in all levels. That is one of the, India is only having among the few countries they have introduced this environmental program. The National Education Policy, which is 2020, it also lays out vision for environmental education and in education for sustainable development fundamental. If you go through this National Education Policy, it talks about the holistic education, it talks about the multidisciplinary education, technological innovation, and also it talks about the holistic and multidisciplinary education in environment, which is related to climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, conservation and management of biological resources, biodiversity, wildlife and forest, and sustainable development and living. These all areas related to environment are mentioned in the new education policy. So higher education has to contribute significantly toward the national education policies vision towards environmental education and education for sustainable development. Here, I would like to emphasize that with the guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies is taking its efforts to achieve the targets which has been mentioned in National Education Policy for multidisciplinary program and program related to various languages, cultures, and other environmental related issues. The school was established in 2009, and it is a school which is providing, it is an enabling state school to foster interdisciplinary programs. It provides the program which is cutting across the disciplinary boundaries. The school provides holistic education, need-based, value-added program, and socially relevant program. The school are having two disciplines, the discipline of interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary studies and environmental studies. Here, I would like to mention that IGNOU is among only few universities in India which are having a separate school for multidisciplinary studies, and which is also mandated and which is also recommended in new education policy. As far as the programs are concerned, the school are offering 5 master's program. The school is offering one science master of environmental science program. Then school is offering master of art in environment and occupational health, master of art in sustainability science, master of folklore and culture study, and master of art in philosophy. So school is offering 5 master's course. The qualification for these program is for Master of Environment Science. The qualification is BSc in Science, Engineering, BTech, Agriculture, Veterinary, all these, and Forestry. These are the Master of Environment Science. Master of rest of the courses, MA courses, they are or any graduate is eligible for other master's program. The school is also offering postgraduate diploma program. 3 postgraduate diploma program, that is postgraduate diploma in folklore and culture study, postgraduate diploma in sustainability science, which is in ODL mode and also in online mode, and postgraduate diploma in environment and occupational health, which is also on ODL and online mode. Here, I would like to emphasize that according to new education policy, all these programs, they are in multiple entry and exit form. After completing when you are taking admission in MA, suppose any of the 3 MA, After, if you are unable to complete your MA in first year itself, if you wanted to get the degree, you will be awarded a degree of postgraduate diploma, whether it is in folklore or culture, whether it is sustainability science or environment and occupational health. So in 1 year, you will be getting the degree of postgraduate diploma, and in second year, if you are completing, you will be getting MA program. We are also offering certificate program in postgraduate certificate in climate change, certificate program in solid waste management, which is also known as Avshist Prabandhan Mein Praman Patra, and we are also offering appreciation program on population and sustainable development. So with this, I would like to give you a brief about the, if you see the courses which are offered in various type of environment related program. If we talk about the MSc in environmental science, it is a 72 credit course, and it is divided into semester. There are 4 semesters. The courses there are related to fundamentals of environment science and ecology, fundamentals of environmental chemistry, disaster management, earth processes, natural resource management, environmental management, urban environment, climate change, environmental issues. All these courses are there, which is offered if you wanted to take admission, or many of you might have taken the admission. The details are there in the IGNOU website. We are also having a social media site. We are updating regularly in Facebook. We are also updating regularly on Twitter and through mail also. Recently, we have launched 2 MA program, that is MA in Environment and Occupational Health and MA in Sustainability Science. MA in Environmental and Occupational Health, again, it is 72 credit course. The eligibility criteria is graduate in any discipline. In this also, there are number of courses which is related to environmental health, occupational health, which it covers the gender, the natural resources, gender and agriculture resources. It covers the various type of occupational, whether it is related to industrial field, whether it is related to agriculture field, or it also talks about mental health. It also talks about various type of environmental hazards. So this is course we have offered from this new session. Likewise, MA in Sustainability Science, this course, again, it is of 72 credits. And the courses, they talk about the sustainability science, challenges to sustainable development. It talks about various type of system, whether it is aquatic system, a mountain ecosystem. It talks about the river ecosystem. Beside that, various challenges to sustainability. So these 3 master's courses are offered in the field of environmental science, and we are promoting the environmental education through these. As far as certificate course is concerned, like sir has also told that we are offering PG certificate in climate change. This course gives an introduction to climate change, mitigation methods for climate change, adaptation to climate change, effect of climate change in various ecosystems, whether it is forest ecosystem, effect on biodiversity, effect on terrestrial ecosystem, marine ecosystem. It also talks about climate and society, and it talks about the instrument, various type of models for climate change assessment. We are also offering a course in waste management, solid waste management. The program is a certificate course. It is in Hindi. The eligibility criteria is only 10 12th pass, and we are providing in this various type of waste and their management, whether electronic waste, plastic waste, e-waste, construction and demolition waste. So these are the courses which are provided by the school. Beside that, we are also offering 9 MOOC courses. The MOOC courses on sustainable management of biodiversity, ecosystem and natural resources, climate change, ethics. We are also offering courses on environmental health, occupational health. So the school and Indira Gandhi National Open University is taking a lead, is providing a quality education in the field of environment, and we are trying to create the knowledgeable workforce which are having an attitude, which are having a skill, which are having a knowledge and aptitude for environmental protection, environmental conservation, and which are ready to work for the environment. With these words, I once again thank Dr. M. Shanmugam and Dr. G. Anna Balagan for providing me this opportunity to interact with you on this topic of environmental education and education for sustainable development, and also giving me a chance to brief you about various programs which are offered by the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your very highly valuable and thought-provoking lecture. Now I invite our esteemed coordinator and professor, Dr. Suresh Frederick from the Bishop Weber College, Trichy, to offer felicitation, please.
Revered director, sir, respected chief guest and the special speaker, ma'am, respected Anbalagan, sir, and my beloved colleagues and students. I'm really happy to be part of this. I wish to felicitate this program. This is a very interesting and useful program, rightly pointed out by Anbalagan, sir. This is a relevant one and useful one. First of all, I wish to thank from the bottom of my heart the chief guest, ma'am. Actually, in fact, I wish to tell you that our college has already got MSc Environmental Science of many years. And when I went through your CV, it is really exhaustive and so many things you have done. Congratulations, ma'am. And thank you for accepting our invitation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that. And especially the way you presented it, very lucid way you presented it. Thank you, ma'am. And of course, I find a lot of students from environmental science and chemistry and other departments attending it. They should have been totally benefited. Thank you very much, ma'am. I also wish to thank Shanmugam, sir, for this wonderful program. And of course, even though the time is between 4 and 5, so many students are there, 94, it is up to 100 students are attending here on Google Meet alone. So thank you for this opportunity, sir, and thank you for suggesting this, first of all, and also organizing this in an effective way. And also thank Dr. Anbalagan, sir, also. So this is really a useful one. Especially, I wish to tell you that the topic is very relevant. As rightly pointed out by Dr. Sachi, ma'am, government has decided to bring in this UG one course in all the UG programs, and that is really relevant. We understand the usefulness. So how Supreme Court is viewing this, how the central government is viewing this, so how we should view this. So thank you very much. With these few words, I congratulate and thank the organizers for beautifully conducting this and the right kind of person to speak to us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now the meeting is open for discussion. The participants, if you have any questions to the resource person, please raise your hand. We request our esteemed madam, if any query comes, please take up.
Yes, CS 215214222. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. MSc Computer Science has raised a hand. Please, sir, you can ask your queries.
Dear participant, unmute your mic. Yes.
Yes, please.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for your inspiration speech on environmental education for sustainable development, ma'am. This is Gayatri, doing MSc Computer Science in Bishop Weber College, Trichy, Tamil Nadu, ma'am. I have one question, ma'am. How to create awareness on environmental education among school and college students, ma'am?
Gayatri, this is very, sorry. What happened? Gayatri, you have asked a very good question, how to create awareness. That is what where the role of there are a number of government schemes, I will say, for starting with government schemes or government program related to awareness of the various environmental issues. Like I was telling you, there is Green Warrior program that is going on, how to conserve the water, whether it is in the form of rainwater harvesting, whether it is wetland conservation, whether it is conservation of watershed management, or save the rain. Every time there are different type of environmental days. Like there are by celebrating those environmental days, for each and every environmental day, the government has kept, not only government, the United Nations has kept a theme, so that with that theme you can create the awareness among the student. For example, I will say that this is the decade of ecosystem restoration. The 5th June, which is celebrated as Environmental Day, the theme was ecosystem restoration. So with that theme, there different programs can be organized, whether it is in the form of debate, whether it is in the form of painting, whether it is in the form of some project, some skit, some mime, some collective community active on that particular day. So this is just a beginning. Likewise, there are in 22nd March, there is a World Water Day. This coming 22nd March is World Water Day. So World Water Day, the theme of this 22nd March World Water Day is groundwater, making visible invisible. So these are the theme where we can create the awareness by creating various type of campaign, whether it is in the form of slogan or any other form that talks about the groundwater conservation. Same way, like there are various day, World Forestry Day, which talks about the conservation of forest, importance of forest, how forest is important for us. Likewise, there is Biodiversity Day. Day, last time, there are themes. Since it is started from 2000, when the first environment, 1995, when it was started, since then there are themes. So each and every themes, it talks about the various issues related to environment. So in my opinion, these are the days where we can create awareness by creating various type of program. Then there are different type of government program, like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Swachhta campaign, Swachh City Sarvekshan. Now you might have heard about city survekshan, where various cities has been categorized on the basis of Swachhta. Then there is Jal Shakti Abhiyan, there is water restoration Abhiyan, there is Amrit Atal Rejuvenation Program. So all these programs, if we are creating with these programs, with these policies, the awareness can be created among the student. Beside that, if you see that in India, as I was telling, in school education itself, there is a course related to environmental studies where the awareness is created. Same way with this environmental undergraduate program in environmental studies or environmental science, the taking various issues related to whether it is exploitation of natural resources, whether it is air pollution, whether it is effect of air pollution on health, whether it is recently in winters we see the crop residue burning and its impact on environment. All these small issues, by creating various type of if nothing, painting competition, skit competition, small project competition, debate competition, likewise this awareness and sensitization can be created. There are many ways. And India needs such kind of green warrior, green yodha, which work towards the sustainability, which can work toward the environment. And also the government is discussing about the greening the education. That is what the greening of education, that in each and every curriculum, the environment should be an integral component. In that way, the greening of curriculum or designing the curriculum by more environment conservation related, sustainability related programs, we can create the environmental awareness. for you, like you are in masters in computer science, you may not be interested in like in your undergraduate you might have studied one environment course, but now there are many small certificates like MOOC course which are free of cost. If you wanted to learn about those courses in Swayam portal, in online program through MHRD, by registering from your home, you can complete those program and you can get a certificate, and you can be more aware and you can be more knowledge, you can gain more knowledge about various environmental issues.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sorry, I have taken so much of time, because these are the thing I think you all, I'm very happy that, like sir was saying, Frederick sir was saying that 94 students are there. So it shows how much your responsibility toward environment, whether you are doing any course related or not, but each and every citizen has a responsibility towards the environment. Whatever nature is giving to us, it's our duty to return back to nature, to improve the nature. It is only for our survival and survival of human well-being and humanity only. So it's good to see the interest of all the participants in this seminar. I think Mr. Safa has written some questions.
Yes,
Mr. Safa?
One more question, that
Yes,
what are the three major concerns in environmental education? From Safa Saisabil from Bishop Weaver College, madam.
Yeah, concern in environmental education, like I was telling you that there is a need for a curriculum that deals with all the aspect of environmental education. If you see the three major concern you said, I will say that in India, if I talk about the climate change, there is a need for curricula related to different issues like climate education. Like I can say that there is need for a curricula related to water management, conservation of water, how water can be recycled and reused, how the circular, if we talk about the waste, how the waste can be recycled, reduced, and it can be used for value added product. So there is a need for curricula which is based on specific theme, which should be second theme is that on the basis of there is a need to create more jobs related to environmental education. If we wanted to create a knowledgeable workforce, we need to have more jobs related to environmental field, so that there will be a student will be more attracted toward the environmental education when they see the job prospect. So creating more green jobs, creating more avenues for the student which are interested in environmental education, and making the modules, smaller modules related to environment, different aspects of environment. This is the need for revamping the environmental education. And if you see the UGC curriculum of environmental education, now there is a need to revise that education also. Like there are many new amendment, whether it is related to climate change, whether it is related to biodiversity, whether it is related to pollution. There are many new amendments, Montreal Protocol, Kigali Amendment, Paris Climate Change Agreement. All these curricula for environmental education need to be revised. Any other student?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Thank you for your inspiration things for environmental education for sustainable development. This is Manigandan, ma'am, doing MSc Computer Science in Bishop Weaver College, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu.
Yes, sir.
I have one question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
What are the steps to be taken for sustainable development, ma'am?
Sustainable development.
Yes, ma'am.
Sustainable development is a development that meets the demand of present generation without compromising the need for future generation to meet its own need. What is that? It talks about the development which is sustainable, which is not like, for example, natural resources. Taking an example of water, we have harvested the water in such a way that groundwater table has gone down. There are issues related to water in many cities, many countries, where the water is either scarce resource or it is polluted resource, or there are problem of sanitation and clean water, or there are problems when the water is not used judiciously. So over exploitation of natural resources. When sustainable development was started, the sustainable development was basically concerned by over exploitation of natural resources and pollution. But now if we see the broader aspect of sustainable development, it the all the 17 sustainable development goals talks about the achievement of sustainable development. The 17 sustainable development goals, this is related to no poverty. It talks about zero hunger. It talks about clean energy. It talks about terrestrial resources, marine resources, gender equality, equity, quality education. By achieving all these goals, there are 169 targets, the sustainable development goals can be achieved. So these sustainable development goals are the key to achieve the sustainable development.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
This is Dorothy doing MSc Computer Science in Bishop Keeper College, ma'am.
Okay.
I have one
Hi,
question.
Dorothy. Yes, Dorothy.
Being student of CS, what way we contribute to the public regarding environment education, ma'am?
That is what Dorothy, I was thinking when I saw that most of the students, they are computer science related. I was also thinking the same way, how computer science can contribute towards the environment. And the answer which came to my mind is that now when we talk about new education policy, it talks about the online education. It talks about the use of technology in providing the quality education to everyone. The government in India, they are focusing on the online education. And you might have we all have witnessed that during COVID-19, the technology has provided us a tool so that each and everyone can get the education from their doorstep. Like when we talk about the IGNOU, the main motto of IGNOU is providing education with doorstep. And now we are moving toward the technology, how technology can help us in providing the quality education to everyone. So when we talk about quality education, the Sustainable Development Goal 4, it talks about the providing the quality education to each and everyone. Here the role of computer science student and technology can come in. You can develop the various type of, you can design the various module, you can help in the delivery of the modules, like the role of different type of, like I'll take the example of PPT. You can make the PPT more one thing is you can make more attractive. Like there is Swayam courses, there is a role of computer technology where you can help in delivering the various courses to each and everyone. Beside that, if you talk about the specific environment related field, I will say that there is tremendous role of this technology again. When we talk about the water table, when we talk about the groundwater management, when we talk about the climate modeling, when we talk about the crop residue burning, all these, when we talk about, if you see IPCC, International Panel for Climate Change, all the predictions of climate change, they are based on the computer model. So on, if you can be helpful in developing this kind of modeling, where the prediction for climate change can be done, when the prediction, our farmers can be helpful when we talk about the this meteorological aspects are concerned. So in that way, you can be helpful in technology, providing the technology for quality education, and also in various research field as far as environmental education and environmental research field is concerned.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for a brief information, ma'am.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
This is Professor Stephen
Yes, sir.
from Bishop Weber College. I belong to computer science, ma'am.
Welcome, sir.
Ma'am, your speech was very useful, ma'am.
Thank
It's
you
an
so much.
inspiring speech. Today you have done very commendable job, ma'am. Thank you
Thanks.
for your wonderful speech, ma'am. I have one question, ma'am.
Please, sir.
Actually,
Please.
our college, Bishop Weber College, already we have environmental department, ma'am.
Yes,
The
sir.
students are doing BSc N Science and MSc N Science, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Already Dr. Suresh sir stated, mentioned, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, sir. Frederick, sir.
Actually, on behalf of Social Work Department of Bishop Weber College, college has adopted 5 villages, ma'am, where
Okay.
they are doing some projects through the central government scheme Unnat Abhiyan, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Unnat Abhiyan.
Madam,
Yes.
any such schemes of central government for environmental science, ma'am? Being because we belong to computer science, shall we get any projects from government, and we want to do some service in villages, ma'am?
Okay, sir.
Regarding environmental science, is it possible, ma'am? Is it possible to get fund from central government and doing project in villages regarding environmental education, ma'am?
I will try to find out the if anything any such thing is there. So there are many funding government is doing, whether it is related to water restoration or related to other biofertilizer, composting, and waste management, waste to energy. But specific to college student working in the village like Unnat Abhiyan, I will inquire about it, sir, and I will whatever information I will gather, I will mail to Frederick, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Any more questions? Any other question?
Hello,
Sneha.
good evening, ma'am.
Sneha, yes.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Sneha.
I'm Sneha. First of all, I like to say that I got registered to a course on the swine portal, as you have said, mentioned before some time.
Yes.
It was after registering for MSc MBA. I found it too exciting and was very much attracted to knowing each and every aspects of the environment. So, ma'am, my question is how to create awareness among uneducated men at local levels as it contributes to attain the sustainable development very soon. And I also wish to know the career opportunities after doing this kind of courses. Could you explain, ma'am?
Yeah. First thing, I will talk about the career opportunities. Okay. The career opportunities, I will take example of master's courses. Okay. The opportunities are there for higher education, for research, and also for various, like I was telling, various ministries, NGOs. There is Central Pollution Control Board, there is State Pollution Control Board, there is Water Resource Ministry, Urban Environment. There is number of NGOs who are working in the field of environment and sustainable development issues. There is various projects you can submit ICSR if you wanted to do and also Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. So like there is a need there is UG course is mandatory in all universities. Likewise, one environmental faculty is mandatory in all the division, in all the universities. So if you see the university teacher, college teacher, school teacher, research, in various ministries, in various this is JBI, Zoological Surveys of India, Botanical Survey of India. All these are having time to time. There are various CSIR institute. If you see NIRI, there are many institutes, they are working in the field of environment. So there are a number of vacancies, various type of industries which are working in the field of water management, which are working for various type of forest product or any other industry. There is environmental inspector is mandatory according to rule. So there are a number of jobs opportunity which you can get after completing the courses related to environment science. Second question, you have asked that how you can create awareness in illiterate people. So see, there are, again, I will say there are many ways. First, you have to go to them and you have to tell them in a very in their manner what is the importance of clean water, what is the importance of hygiene, what is the importance of, like, a government has started this Ujjwala scheme, if you may be knowing about that scheme, providing the gas cylinders to on subsidy to all the rural and people who are below poverty line. The reason being that these people, they use wood for their burning, so that created various type of health issues and environmental issues also. Most of the people will be having asthma, or they will be the kind of various related problems. So in that, you have to particularly find it out what is the problem in that particular village, and by looking at the problems you can find out the solution and you can make them aware about that. I will also take the example of Kerala. Like in Kerala, every time it is, I mean, it's kind of environmental news only, that the kind of pesticide that was sprayed into the cashew nut fields, so that has created the problem in the entire population of that particular village, whether it is related to their nervous system or any other system, kind of it has created. So by taking a problem and making them aware about that problem, I think that is the way. The conserving the water, rooftop harvesting, using waste, keeping sanitation, hygiene, all these things, you can create the small camps and make them aware about various environmental issues, because they will not be understanding about the sustainable development, but definitely they will be more concerned about their livelihood and more concerned about their health. So on the basis of that, you can create the awareness.
Thank you.
Madam, good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
I am Dr. M. Jayakumar, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science.
Yes,
I have one question, madam. What is the difference between global warming and climate change?
So, changing of climate, increase in temperature, that is climate change. Global warming, if you see, there are greenhouse gases. The earth temperature, it becomes habitable. Like if there is no greenhouse gases, the earth will become very cool. These greenhouse gases absorb the energy which is going out of the earth. They make the earth habitable. So greenhouse gases are mandatory. When the greenhouse gases increases, for example, carbon dioxide, for example, methane. Methane is released from the rice field. This carbon dioxide, which is basically for deforestation and other activities, when these gases increase, the temperature of the environment increase. So this is called global warming. Because of these increase in temperature, there is effect on climate, like there is glacial melting. There, because of this melting of glacier, there is island they are submerging. Because of increase in temperature, there is different periods for there is increase of various type of diseases, malaria, dengue, and other things. There is effect on agriculture. All these things together making the change in climate. So because of global warming, climate change is happening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. This is Stephen, ma'am, from Bishop Weber College, ma'am.
Yes, Stephen.
Madam, how to give clean water to all the citizens of India? Is there any scheme government has, ma'am?
This is the target of Indian government also, to provide the clean water to each and every village. There are number of schemes. Government has number of schemes, number of policies, number of laws. If you say the Water Act or Environmental Protection Act, all these act, and there is a there is water policy. All these talks about providing the clean water. in everyone. There is recently Jal Shakti Abhiyan. That is what I was talking. Jal Shakti Abhiyan. There is Atal Rejuvenation Abhiyan, Amrit. There are many program government is introduced to provide the clean water in each and every village. If you talk about in Delhi, there is a program not only in Delhi, there are in Andhra also. I have recently in the reports I've seen in Andhra, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, the project on river rejuvenation and also the wetland rejuvenation is going on, so that the water bodies which have become eutrophied or eutrophication, the water which has dried, with the water bodies which are not having water, or the rivers which have dried, all the rejuvenation kind of work is going on, and providing water to each and every village. That is also through water in every drop. Something, one program is also government is launching to provide the clean water to everyone. Beside that, if you talk about the sustainable development goal also talks about clean water to everyone. So there are many policies, many programs by government where it aims to provide clean water to everyone, conserve the water, restore the water, rejuvenate the water body, all these programs. Using the wastewater, recycling of wastewater, all these programs are government is introducing. Yes, Gayatri Menon
Thank
has.
you.
Ma'am, I'm Gayatri and I'm doing MSc Environmental Science in IGNOU as a distant education course. So actually, my concern is like, as you told, there are many government policies that is supporting or that is helping to improve that environment. But there are many other factors also, like on the name of development, we are trying to destroy our nature also. So how the development and environmental protection can be taken together forward without any damage to environment?
See, environmental impact assessment. Here comes the role of environmental impact assessment. If you see any developmental activity, the environmental impact assessment is must. That how much there is, how any developmental activity is affecting the environment. This is a legal document which each and every industry, before starting any work, they have to submit, they have to do the environmental appraisal, they have to submit it, and on the basis of that only the any developmental activity can be taken place. Likewise, there is a talk about green economy. Whenever we talk about sustainable development goal, there are three aspects, three pillars which need to be taken care: economy, society, and environment. By green economy, it talks about the taking care of economy also and environment also. Likewise, we talk about the circular economy. Now there is a circular economy where the economy is in a way that nothing is wasted. Whatever the is waste for one commodity or one product, it can be used for as a resource to other. So nothing is wasted. So in that way, we can take care where the developmental needs can be met without compromising the environment. By various policy planning, utilizing the resources, making it sustainable, we can definitely control all these things, and economy also will be taken care of.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? Now I request Dr. Jaykumar, Assistant Coordinator, LSC 2504, Bishop Weber College, to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. I have a great privilege to propose vote of thanks. At the outset, I am very thankful to Dr. M. Sanmugam sir, Senior Regional Director, IGNOU, Madurai, for your presidential address. Thank you, sir. I extend my thanks to Dr. G. Anpalangan sir, Assistant Regional Director, Madurai RC, IGNOU. Thank you, sir. My special thanks to Dr. Suresh Vetrik sir, Coordinator, IGNOU, 2504, Bishop Weber College, for your felicitation address. Thank you, sir. I wish to register my special word of thanks to our resource person of today's webinar on environmental education for sustainable development, Professor Shati Shah, Director SOITS, IGNOU, New Delhi. Thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring speech. It was very useful and informative, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I thank all the participants all over India and abroad. Thank you for your active participation. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Coordinator, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Suresh,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Jay Kumar.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Stephen, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all the participants.
Illiterate.